CrossFit of Deliverance athletes, welcome to another Be Relentless vlog. Let's go into what's happening in the gym this week. Remember, we have Frosty Friday. That'll be hosted by Coach Ariel or Coach Naveed. Remember, is bring your own everything, right? So we'll go ahead and make sure the barbecue's there ready for propane, barbecue everything up. And also, what should be fun with this Frosty Friday, we do have the new basketball hoop up. So go ahead, make sure you enjoy that. Break out spike ball, cornhole, so on and so forth. Enjoy your guys, yourselves. With that, remember, we also have August's Get Out of the Gym event is going to be the day hike to Lake 22. So hopefully you've already looked at that on the membership Facebook page and already go ahead and figured out if you're going to be able to do that. Guys, with that, let's get into the programming. It's going to be a little bit of a non-traditional WOD. You're going to start out with essentially 300 meters of farmers carries, 30 man makers, then 300 meters of farmers carries again. Now, with the farmers carries, guys, you will go ahead and be using and have 2 dumbbells in each hand, but what's going to end up happening every 100 yards, you got 100 meters, you're going to put one dumbbell down and complete 10 single arm deadlifts, right? So the intention of this is that you go ahead and you have to essentially brace across your body to make sure that you actually keep the correct hinging pattern correct and it being strong. Now, if you're doing this RX Plus, what's going to end up happening, you're going to switch out one of your dumbbells. I keep on wanting to say kettlebells today. We'll switch out one of your dumbbells for a 70-pound dumbbell for guys and a 45 dumbbell for ladies, and you're going to be using the heavier dumbbells for when you do those single arm deadlifts. Now, what's going to go ahead and happen is it is going to increase the difficulty of the single arm deadlifts, but really what's going to do is really increase the overall physicality and bracing across your transverse, across your body transverse plane during the farmer's carries. So that should be nice and fun. Remember, for these man makers, you're still going to be for RX Plus using 45 and 30s. Okay, so that should be super fun. That's going to be the WOD for Fit for Life and competitive athletes. Now with that, guys, let's get into the extra work for the competitive athletes or any of you that just feel like you have a little bit more time. After you complete that, you're going to go ahead and get some weightlifting done. The complex has 2 squat cleans in it. What's going to end up happening on the second squat clean that you complete, you're going to have to hold the bottom of the squat for 2 seconds. That's to go ahead and take away your ability to use a stretch reflex and see how strong you really are at the bottom and how organized you can be after a full, essentially halfway through that complex. Other than that, guys, remember elevated clean pulls. The intention there, you go ahead and I have it listed where I want you to pull from, but whenever it's elevated, people have a tendency to essentially get set up nice and tight, and then right before they start, lose all that tension. They go slack and they kind of jerk and yank the bar off of the blocks. Go ahead and make sure it's nice and smooth, right? It's going to be kind of like that same mental feeling on a tall cleaner snatch or a drop snatch, right? Where you really have to think about what's happening to make sure you have the right movement pattern. As well, remember the back squats that are pause, and the standard, right, usually is 3 seconds, same exact thing here. If you're doing it outside of class, remember you do have the warm-up. Make sure you get those deficit handstand push-ups in, right? That's going to be go ahead and just working on maintaining the skill for maintenance as well. Pretty simple, guys. Remember, we are in week 4 of the Olympic lifting cycle. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. That means we're halfway through the traditional cycle and a third of the way through the total cycle. Remember, we are focusing on a ton of lifting, which means that the amount of monostructural work and gymnastics that you are doing between WODs and then the warm-ups that I have listed is just enough to maintain, right? Just enough to maintain. And for those of you that needed more than just this maintenance, right, you were given the gymnastics pulling, right, block, right, for the accessory works. So guys, remember, if you have any questions, please let me know. I will be out with Amy Wednesday through next Monday. Once a year we go down and visit her brother down in California, so we'll be out during that time. Guys, remember, be relentless in everything that you do, and we'll see you on the flip side.